So before we proceed, please like, subscribe, and share this particular content with everyone, with one of your friends. And let's begin.
In Ranasamudyame, Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Purport. Although
Which one is
Lord
that?
Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercies, he was engaged in the service of his friend. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed herein as infallible. As charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna, and since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, Rishikesha, the Lord of the total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord. And similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees, assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is the master, everyone is under his orders, and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of a peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war.
Arjuna is asking to move his rath to the in between the armies. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapayame Achyuta. Now, this is kind of, you can say that he wants to Niriksheham. So he's saying that Niriksheham. I want to observe the armies. That's why the chapter is also named as observing the armies. The position, if you see, as a friend, okay, one friend can request to another friend, but then seeing from a different perspective, the living entity as Arjuna, and then Krishna being the supreme personality of Godhead, he's taking orders. So Krishna is also putting himself in a position where he's in a mood of serving his devotee. So that also is mentioned by Prabhupada, that the servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord. Similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee also. So it is a reciprocal thing. So Krishna, as a caring, I mean, you can say a father or a friend, would also like to serve his devotees. Uh, at the same time, when Krishna is taking the chariot in his hands, that means being a charioteer, and the name is mentioned here as Achyuta. So, which means that even if a person, even if he is taking the reins in his hands, his position of being supreme is not challenged. So, usually, when a chauffeur is driving a car, so he's in that position as a chauffeur. He's considered as a driver. He's not he basically is not the owner. So so if a person of caliber of Krishna takes to the position of a charioteer, his position being the supreme personality of Godhead is not challenged. So that's why he's called as Achyuta. Achyuta means uh, Achyuta means to fall. Achyuta means one who does not fall. So irrespective of no matter what he does, so his situation is infallible. being requested by Arjuna. So now Krishna is going to take the chariot in between. But then uh, the pure devotee is in an advantageous position of ordering the Supreme Lord. He's not taking, in a sense, he's not, what do you say, controlling, or he's not, uh, as they say, having to enjoy being in a superior position. So as a devotee, he's not enjoying being in a superior position and then giving instruction. See, I am giving instruction to the Supreme Lord. I'm better than him. No, that's again not the point. So as a devotee, even though in a from a superior position he's ordering, he's telling the Supreme Lord, but still it is out of love. It is not out of arrogance. It is not out of being in a superior position or anything like that. But what Prabhupada is trying to tell, that pure devotee is assuming the advantageous position of ordering the Lord, uh, give and take orders, but that does not reduce the relationship, that does not demean the relationship. And Krishna also taking the orders from the devotee, he's also experiencing transcendental pleasure. And he does not feel like I'm being ordered by somebody inferior to me. He does not feel bad about it. So when somebody, even in our workplace or in some other place where any subordinate, when somebody orders us, then we feel bad. We feel challenged. How can you order me? So that's not the position with Krishna. So he's having a very loving relationship with the with his friend, and the same thing. So when a subordinate is ordering the boss feels bad. But if they have a very good relationship, then there is a possibility of of both not feeling bad about it. And being a pure devotee, Arjuna has no desire to fight. But still, all possible peace negotiations were tried to made, but still it was not. Things didn't work out well, and now he wants to see that, okay, although there was no need of this war, and all endeavors for a peacemaking thing was made, but still he wants to see. Let me see who has come here to fight an unwanted war. So he's looking from that angle now. 23rd.
योत्स्यमानान् अवेक्षेऽहं यातेऽत्र समागत धार्तराष्ट्रस्य दुर्बुद्धिर्युद्धे प्रियश्चिकीर्षव. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Purport. It was an open secret that Duryodhana wanted to usurp the kingdom of the Pandavas by evil plans in collaboration with his father Dhritarashtra. Therefore, all persons who joined the side of Duryodhana must have been birds of the same feather. Arjuna wanted to see them on the battlefield before the fight was begun, just to learn who they were, but he had no intention of proposing peace negotiations with them. It was also a fact that he wanted to see them to make an estimate of the strength which he had to face, although he was quite confident of victory because Krishna was sitting by his side.
It was so when Prabhupada is saying it was open secret, that means basically everybody knew. Everybody in the kingdom, in the Hastinapur, everybody all around the place, everybody knew that Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, they wanted to forcefully usurp the kingdom of Pandavas by evil plans. And this can be very well seen. The people, those who always want to, those who are not having the qualification, those who do not qualify for that, they would always take to unfair means to uh, acquire things. And some people may get the access to such a thing, but that would not last long. And so another intention of Arjuna is to uh, go and see estimate the strength of the opposing party. And that's why he also wanted to go in between and check that. Yeah, 24.
Next, 24. एवम् उक्तो ऋषिकेशो गुडाकेशेन भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये स्थापयित्वा रथोत्तमम्. Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. Perfect. In this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudakesha means sleep. Gudaka means sleep. And one who conquers the sleep is called Gudakesha. Sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment because that is the nature of a devotee. Either in walking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness or Samadhi. As Krishikesha or the director of the senses and mind of every living entity, Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of the armies. Thus he did so and spoke as follows.
Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesa. Gudaka and Isa. Isa means controller. Isa means one who has subjugated or controlled. Sleep and ignorance. Sleep comes in the mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance and ignorance of one's own self. Both are in the same situation. It's like when you go to sleep, you don't know who you are. I mean, we don't know who we are. So all the knowledge goes. I mean, because of memory, it comes back when we wake up. But then the principle of Budaka, the ignorance is that one forgets who they are. And when Arjuna was in the Gurukul in the Dronacharya's place, so he would learn a lesson. He would learn the lessons all throughout the day, and then he would practice the lessons all throughout the night. And he would practice uh, in the darkness. He would practice during some daylight position, and then he would also practice in the darkness. So in the darkness means he would shoot in the dark to the target. That means without seeing. He cannot see the target, but then he would shoot at the target. And that's how he would keep on practicing. So literally, you can say that, as long as he was there in the Gurukul, he was learning all of that. He kind of never slept. It's not that he was not sleeping in the night and then he was sleeping the day. No, he was not sleeping the day, he was not sleeping the night also. So that's how it is said that he has conquered the sleep and he has conquered the ignorance. Anybody who is thinking of Krishna all the time, Prabhupada is mentioning the word as samadhi. So samadhi does not mean that one would sit in a calm position and then keep contemplating, meditating, or thinking about something or some sound of that is also one part of samadhi. But then the samadhi in bhakti is being absorption in Krishna consciousness. How do we serve Krishna in a better way? Let's say somebody is thinking about how to make a garland. So what all flowers I want to put in the garland. Somebody is preparing food. what all ingredients have to be there? How it has to be prepared? What all needs to be prepared? So all of that thing that is also a part of meditation, and that's why they are also called as samadhi. So Prabhupada would encourage people to get into this kind of samadhi where you can focus your attention in details of the service, each one of service into great detail. So when we take up some service, then we constantly think, okay, how it can be done, what all it can be done, and that's called samadhi. So one has to be in this consciousness, always thinking of Krishna, how to serve Krishna and devotees and different things, and that would increase one's absorption. And that's why when as a Rishikesa, the director of the senses and mind of every living entity, Krishna could understand the purpose of his placing the chariot in the midst of the armies. And this is again being aligned with Arjuna. So Krishna can any time align with us, but most of the time we are misaligned with Krishna, and that is what creates the problem. And we should, so our alignment with Krishna would be in terms of increasing our absorption. That means the more we are in samadhi, the more we are in absorption of Krishna's thoughts and actions and services, the more we will be in alignment with Krishna's desires. 25th.
Bhishma Drona Pramukhata Sarvesham Mahikshhitam Yuva cha Partha Pashyaitam Samavetan Kurun iti. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, "Just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here." Purport: as the super soul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjuna. The use of the word Rishikesha in this connection of indicates that he knew everything. And the word Partha, or the son of Kunti or Pritha, is also similarly significant in reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Pritha, the sister of his own father, Vasudeva.
Being so Bhishma and Drona, they are the, he's saying, the chieftains of the world. Now, chieftains of the world basically means what? They are the greatest of the warriors, and there were no one in comparison with these two, to Bhishma and Drona. And just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Super soul, being Krishna being the super soul, he's there in the heart of everyone, and he has the capacity, he has the I mean, it's like the power, he has the knowledge to know what anyone thinks, what everybody thinks. So whatever that Krishna so Krishna is able to know whatever Arjuna is thinking. And the word Rishikesa is again that meaning that because he knew what is going on in the mind of Arjuna. And the Partha is the son of Pritha. Pritha means the Kunti. So he's also referring to, so whenever Krishna is addressing Arjuna in a different name, so he's referring to something. So now he's telling that, okay, you are son of Pritha, you are son of Kunti. So he's referring to his maternal side, the thing. And as a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Pritha, he is the own son of Vasudeva. That means he had great heritage. He had great, from the Kshatriya dynasty, basically. So that way, Kshatriya is supposed to so because Krishna is now basically kind of knowing that Arjuna is going to get into his, sad phase, and then he wants to give a lot of arguments to stop the fight. So Krishna is getting to know that, but then he's kind of telling that, just behold the Kurus, all of them are standing here, and take right decision because you are a Kshatriya. So Arjuna did Arjuna want to stop there and not fight? So this is kind of question that is coming up here. Krishna never expected such a thing from his aunt Pritha, or son of the aunt is Pritha, and he is kind of predicting and a friendly joking. Yeah, 28.
Prabhuji, this Pritha is the own sister of Vasudeva.
Kunti and Vasudeva's sister, further sister.
Own, not cousins, no?
No, actually, see, Vasudeva's father had many wives. So from one of them was Vasudeva, and from one of them was Kunti.
Tatra pashyat stithan partha pitranat pitamahan acharyan matulan britran putran shakim tata swasuran shuhrdaschaiva shenayor ubayor api. There, Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father in law and well wishers. Purport. On the battlefield, Arjuna could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like Bhurishrava, who were their fathers' contemporaries, grandfathers Bhishma and Somadatta, teachers like Dronacharya and Kripacharya, maternal uncles like Salya and Sakuni, brothers like Duryodhana, sons like Lakshmana, friends like Ashwatthama, well-wishers like Kritavarma, etc. He could see also the armies which contained many of his friends.
So literally the whole family is here. I mean, from the great grandfather to the great grandson, and these are few names that is mentioned here, but then literally the whole Guru dynasty is here in one sense. Yeah.
Bhurishrava is
His father's contemporaries means Pandu's contemporaries.
Pandu.
Yeah.
Tan samshikshya sa kaunteya sarvan bandhun avastitan kripaya parabhyavishto vishidan idam abravit. When the sons of Kunti are When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
Yeah, proceed.
28. Arjuna vacha drishtvenam drishtvemam svajanam Krishna yuyutsam shamupastitam Siddhanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishishyati. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Perfect. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods, whereas the non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualifications, by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically, the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind of devotee like Arjuna. Although it is not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but to his soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. It is said, therefore, Yashyasti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchana Sarvair Gunais Tatra Samasate Suraha Harava Abhaktasya Kuto Mahadguna Mano Ratena Sati Davato Bahi. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods, but one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is considered to be attracted by the glaring material energy. Bhagavatam 5.18.12.
So this can be compared to a family fight for property where all the family members are there and then they are all sitting and discussing together and then they are fighting for a property or fighting for something. And suddenly one of them feels that, you know, they are all fighting for something that is so trivial, something that is so not of so much value. And uh, as a genuine person, one may think that, okay, and I may not need all of that. I may just live of my whatever that I have. So this kind of things, seems like that. And when a person is having a compassionate heart, would feel that, okay, let them take everything, and I don't want anything, and I don't want to fight. But when you actually see that so many people are actually quarreling, fighting, shouting on top of their voice, and then sometimes go to court also, sometimes sue and file a suit and all of that, then people may consider, how come such a person who has been, we grew up together, we have been friends together, we had talked to nicely, how come suddenly this person changed? How come this his behavior or this person's behavior has drastically changed? And you know so that's what, you can draw a parallel that what Arjuna is feeling there. So for Arjuna, it's like he has seen all the people, all of them grew up together. I mean, of course, from the childhood only, Duryodhana and Pati were always envious of the Pandavas. They tried to do all such kind of things to the Pandavas. But still, he was thinking that how come these people are so, ready to fight, so enthusiastic to fight, and that too for such a this cause. So that's what is creating a doubt, and then his limbs are quivering, his mouth is drying up, and just Arjuna is astonished to see such a fighting spirit there. And Prabhupada is quoting here as the Bhagavatam sloka, Yasyasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana, Sarvai Gunais Tatra Samasate Sura, Hara Bhaktasya Kuto Mahatgunan, Manorathena Sati Dhavata Vahi. Manoratha, Manoratha means it is, they are hovering on the mental plane. Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchana. Anybody who does bhakti to Akinchana Krishna, Bhagavati, so Sarvai Gunais Tatra. Sarvai means all the Gunais qualities, Tatra to him, Samasate, they come, Suraha, of the demigods, of the Devatas. So that means all the good qualities possessed by devotees or Devatas would be seen in a person who does bhakti to Abhaktasya, one who is not a devotee. Kuto Mahat Guna, where is the good qualities? Because they are hovering on the mental plane, and Mano Rathena Sati Dhavato Bahihi. Bahihi means they are running away. They are running away from the mainstream. And that's why it is said that Mano Rathena. So they are sitting on the chariot of mind, and they are running away from the devotion, away from the Krishna, away from the bhakti. And that's why they cannot. So even if they may have so many good material qualifications, and they are of little value, because everything is going to come to an end at the time of death. The moment the body leaves, the body leaves, uh, whatever good qualities one may have acquired, or one may have possessed, or one may have practiced, everything comes to a standstill, comes to an end. So it is creating a stark contrast between a devotee of Krishna and a non-devotee of Krishna. So no matter how much good qualities a non-devotee of Krishna may have, is of no value. It's outrightly rejecting, is of no value. Yet, if somebody is a devotee, they may have some defects, some not so good qualities. Still, a person who is devoted to Krishna is much better off than a person who is not a devotee of Krishna and having to show off a lot of good qualities that way. So there is a huge difference between both of them. Yeah, so we'll stop here. And any questions?